What does it mean to be alive? Is it simply breathing, drinking when you're thirsty, eating when you're hungry, sleeping when you're tired? Or is that just existing, walking through life like a zombie, spending your parents' money on Fortnite skins and participating in the TikTok Touch a Hot Stove challenge? Maybe being alive is more than having your basic needs met. It's climbing a tree and picking an apple, sleeping under the stars, and waking up with the sunrise. Being alive is rolling up to a watering hole with the whole squad and not sweating that there could be a cheetah crouching in the tall grass, aiming to make this day your last. Today, on Mr. Wood's World, living things in the environment.
I'm alive, and I see things mighty clear today. I'm alive. I'm alive, and I'm breathing clean, fresh air today. I'm alive. Yes, I am.
What is up, guys? What is up? Welcome to Mr. Wood's World. As always, I hope you're having a nice little Tuesday. And I sure am, because it's official. We are in a new unit. Body systems is over. Peristalsis is no more. We are now talking about ecosystems, which means we're talking about full organisms. I'm talking lampshade cats, chimps with iPads, auto-tuned snoring dogs. And those are all going to be key terms. So, get ready for what could be your hardest unit yet. As you guys know, this is an audio medium, but I can display visuals. Here is a little video I found. Now, you guys know me. You know in no way do I condone committing crime. Stealing is wrong. That is a fact. Having said that, I don't know if I've ever seen such a daring heist in my entire life. The courage, the brains it took to pull this off. It leaves me in awe. Here is an ant stealing a little diamond. Truly a master of his craft. So today, we are starting our unit on ecosystems, and right off the bat, we are talking about organisms and the habitats they live in. An organism is an individual, animal, plant, or single-celled life form, which really runs the gambit of life on Earth. Just remember, if it isn't alive, it ain't an organism. A stick, not an organism. A stick bug, an organism. A rock, not an organism. The rock, an organism. Now, in order for an organism to survive, it needs to get resources from its environment. Resources are the items from an environment that an organism needs to live, grow, and reproduce. Some examples: food, water, and shelter. These conditions together will create a habitat. And a habitat is an environment that provides the things a specific organism needs to live, grow, and reproduce. So don't let that trip you up, guys, because those two definitions are similar, but resources are the items themselves that an organism needs to survive, and a habitat is the environment that provides those items. In nature, every organism you see in a particular habitat is there because that habitat meets their specific needs. Grizzly bears, for instance, they need the salmon-filled streams of Alaska to bulk up for winter. Panda bears, they eat bamboo, so they live in the bamboo-rich forests of central China. And I live in Ambler, within 10 miles of Wendy's, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Burger King, Taco Bell, and if I'm feeling fancy, Panera Bread. Now, within these habitats, there are two types of factors to consider: biotic factors and abiotic factors. Now, biotic factors are the parts of a habitat that are or once were alive and that interact with an organism. Examples of biotic factors would include animals, plants, remains of dead organisms, waste products made by organisms, bacteria, mushrooms, and other small organisms. They are all examples of biotic factors. Now, abiotic factors, they are the opposite. They are the non-living components of a habitat. Water, oxygen, space, rocks, light, temperature, and soil. They are all abiotic factors in the environment. Now, abiotic factors may seem boring. I mean, here is an example of what a biotic factor can do. And then here is an abiotic factor. You know, one is more interesting than the other, but abiotic factors are just as important to the survival of the organism as anything biotic. For example, you know, if a water supply is polluted and the water can no longer be safely consumed by biotic organisms in the habitat, then the entire system is going to collapse. That is because these systems are delicately organized. Much like us, most organisms, they don't live alone. They live in communities, they need companionship, they need romance. I remember a couple years ago there was a Humboldt penguin in a zoo named Grape who fell in love with a cardboard cutout of an anime character. You know, penguins need love too. Unfortunately, I think he died fairly recently, so RIP to Grape, a real one. These levels of ecosystem organization begin with an organism. Grape, the Humboldt penguin, is the start of these levels of organization. So let's take Humboldt penguins, all right? These South American penguins, they all are part of one species. A species is a group of organisms that can mate with each other and produce offspring that can also mate and reproduce. So a group of these Humboldt penguins living in the Pingüino de Humboldt National Reserve in Chile. I don't want to take you guys to Spanish class, but I'll give you one guess of what pingüino translates to. So a group of these pingüinos is considered a population. A population is made up of the members of one species that live in a particular area. Now, one thing about the Pingüino de Humboldt National Reserve is that while it is important for the conservation and breeding of Humboldt penguins, there are other animals that live in the habitat. Bottlenose dolphins swim off the shore, sea lions lounge on the rocks. These are examples of communities. A community are all the different populations that live together in an area. Oh, and there's one other animal that lives in the National Reserve I forgot to mention. Can you guess what it is? Guys, there are so many otter videos on YouTube. I went down a real otter hole making this episode. I guess otters are popular pets in Japan, so there's all these channels that are devoted to specific otters. Kotaro the otter, happy sushi birthday. Bingo summer vacation, having fun swimming in the pool. Cute baby otter learns how to be an otter. Never have pizza in front of Otter Bingo. I strapped a GoPro to an otter. Otter Bingo received a spaceship. Kotaro the otter, new trick, nose boop. The cat that doesn't get angry no matter what the otter does. Otter Kotaro and Hannah get a new skateboard. Otter Bingo having his first shaved ice. Otter Bingo receives Uber Eats delivery. Does Otter Bingo like baby corn? Otter Bingo is now my favorite influencer, and in my opinion, the voice of this generation. There is one video that I'm afraid I can't recommend, and that is For You Funniest Otter Videos. As you can see in the screen cap, it's an otter reaching for an ice cream sandwich. Well, it's with a heavy heart that I have to report this scene never occurs in the video. And upon closer inspection, the picture appears to be photoshopped. Let's talk about populations. Now, new individuals generally join a population by being born into it. That's represented by the birth rate. The birth rate is the number of births per 1,000 individuals in a given time period. When the birth rate is higher than the death rate, which is the number of deaths per 1,000 individuals in a given period of time, then the population will increase. If the birth and death rates are about equal, then the population will remain stable. And when the death rate is higher than the birth rate, then the population will decrease. Now, outside factors can affect these rates. If food and water are plentiful, then the birth rate may increase. The population will thrive. Likewise, during a drought or a famine, the birth rate could plummet. Another way population size can change is through immigration and emigration. Immigration is the act of moving into a population, and emigration is the process of moving out of a population. If an antelope looks around and realizes all his friends are getting eaten, he might say, all right, I'm going to head out and try and emigrate to a new population. If a lonesome turtle walks by a population of turtles in a raspberry patch and he says, whoa, you guys got raspberries, and the other turtles say, hey, pull up a chair, brother, that turtle just immigrated. Finally, let's just talk about the factors that can limit population growth. Limiting factors are the environmental factors that cause a population to stop growing or to decrease in size. One example would be food and water. As a backdrop, here's a gross video of an elephant trying to bite a watermelon in half. So if an elephant eats 400 pounds of vegetation a day, and a habitat can provide about 2,000 pounds of vegetation daily, that habitat can support 5 elephants. Any more than that, there will be food shortages, and one of them has got to go. This is called carrying capacity. A carrying capacity is the largest population an area can support. Another limiting factor would be climate and weather. Now, this can go hand in hand with food. If there is a lot of warm weather and healthy vegetation, then that area can support more life. Meanwhile, something like a rocky tundra or an Arctic landscape, that wouldn't be able to support a large population at all. Also, areas prone to flooding or hurricanes, well, that can limit population growth as well. Finally, space and shelter. Simply put, the amount of space an organism can have to spread out and live, that's essential too. If there is no room for the population to thrive, then it will decrease. You know, when I watch Planet Earth, I always see those shots of all the birds nesting on like a big flat rock, and I wonder if any of them think, I hate this. This is so annoying. All the squawking, all the chirping, I can't sleep. The guy next to me keeps giving me nest building tips. Next season, I'm out of here. Sayonara. Guys, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to Mr. Wood's World. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I'd be happy to help. Next week, we are talking food chain. Get hype. Nothing left to say. Have a good one, guys. Mr. Wood out.